Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We do appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Call the meeting to order, and of course, this being the workshop, we will not take any action, any voting tonight. First item is roll call. Everybody's present. Thank each one of you. Here, the next one is our agenda. Has everybody had the opportunity to look over the agenda? Anybody see any comments or things need to be changed on it? Any comments, things need to be changed on the agenda? Discussions? Okay, next one will be the minutes of our previous meeting, that being the June 15th work session, June the 16th regular call meeting.
We're good. We're fine. We're good. Sorry.
Any more comments or discussion? Any comments, discussion? It'd be going pretty good like that. City manager, correct, there's no public hearing?
There are no public hearings.
No visitor presentation?
No, sir.
Okay, and no unfinished business?
No, sir.
I do want to thank each and every one of you again for staying on top of things, being diligent, and getting everything done in a timely manner. Next is new business. Consider approval of sign variance for Dockside Inn located 201 Broad Street. We will take action on that tomorrow night. You want to enlighten us a little bit on that?
I will, Mr. Mayor. I'll turn it over to Mr. McDonald. He received the permit, and the reason that comes here under the sign ordinances rather than making its own first is that's after it comes to us first, and then any variance can be approved up there.
Okay.
And there's a technical variance that they're asking for tonight.
Correct. You should have a copy of the original variance request in your packet, and also a picture of the current sign is located on the southwest corner of Scranton and Broad Street. You can see the sign there. The variance request is because this is a stanchion type sign, which is of the appropriate size for the CHT HD district. Okay. You may not be aware that the building itself is basically on the property line all the way around. So everything within about 6 inches forward, north of the building, where the sidewalk is, all the way across the street, that's all city easement. And on the west side, or on the east side, the building sits on the property line, and from there all the way over to the buttresses on the Adams Strain building is city easement. So in order to put
City right.
city right. Okay.
Well, we'll get that.
Well, yeah.
Okay. There was a sign there. There were actually 3 bollards there, and I think the scientific name is a bush that was there with the bollards. And this sign would replace it. The reason for request for variance is that, of course, it sits on the city right-of-way. Okay, and there really is no other place to put it. And the other signs that had previously been there were on the right-of-way. In fact, the signs over next to the building were on the right-of-way.
That's right, and that's why we brought it. This technically probably could have been done without the variance because it was a remodeling of the existing sign in the existing location. But since it is in the right of way, we wanted to be more safe and sorry and bring it to y'all. And again, as Mr. McCollins pointed out, there is literally no place on that property to put a sign. And in fact, the businesses in that area sort of all have signs on the right of way. It's by its nature. Now, and that is legally right of way, but the fact is, obviously, I think we all know we will never use that right of way. But it is legally right of way. And it is going on top of where an existing sign was. That's the key. So
Personally, I think it looks lovely. I think it's an addition to
Yeah, it looks
downtown
good.
Darien
It
and
looks
going
good.
down. It looks great, Zach. You did a great job.
Thank you.
I
Appreciate that.
personally think it looks fantastic. that, so it adds to curb appeal and so.
Mr. Russell, we're on item A,
Just started.
just,
Perfect time.
There was a place that you could put a sign. If you look at the building, in the middle of the building, there's a rod sticking out. And the sign used to hang there. Several signs, but
on the building.
you could not put a sign there now because it has taken its toll. You could not, especially not anything heavy.
You may have some personal knowledge.
I was gonna say that too.
It was
You look better.
our restaurant for
It
a
won't
long
hold
time.
streets
Is
though.
there a pool back there
I grew
once?
up in that building, so that's the first place I lived when I moved to Darien in the early '70s. So
We're not saying nothing, but, it won't hold King's weight.
but it is
We'll leave it there.
in signs.
Right there, done. Okay, any more comments or questions on that? Anybody have any comments, questions? Comments, questions? Okay, we'll take action on that tomorrow night. Next item is item D, consider variance request for Pelican Pizza to add a steel frame carport. Now this one will have to go to planning and zoning, correct?
No,
Like
it's
we did, like I said, it did,
named
but the other one didn't have to with the
The
sign.
sign does not, that comes directly to you guys for there, that's correct.
Yeah, and this one's already been through it, and they discussed it and made their decision and sent to us and all.
That's correct. Mr. McCullough, you want to handle that?
You should have a copy of the request, and along with the request, there should also be a copy of a modification letter and a copy of a diagram of what the carport looks like, and also a letter from the planning and zoning after their review. And I'll read it real quickly. It says, subject variance request Pelican Pizza. Darien Planning and Zoning Board held a public meeting 13 July 2020 on the variance request of Mr. Bill Marcy of Pelican Pizza. At that meeting, Mr. Marcy asked the board to recommend approval of a carport-like structure, 31 feet wide, 24 feet deep, to be placed on the north side of the Friendly Express building. Reasons given for the request included the current COVID-19 situation, which severely limits the indoor seating capacity of Pelican Pizza restaurant. Pelican Pizza is in the CHT-HD district, and current zoning does not allow for the type of structure requested. However, based on current conditions, the board felt that some accommodation could be made by the city council if the following stipulations were met. 1, that the temporary structure is approved in writing by the property owner. 2, that the use of the temporary structure is limited to a period of 2 years. 3, that no extension of the 2-year period will be granted. 4, that no attempt would be made by the owner to make the structure permanent. 5, that at the end of the 2-year period or on the sale of the business, the structure will be removed by the owner. 6, the Department of Public Health approves the use of the structure. And 7, that the structure does not violate national fire protection standards. Granted all the above requirements are met, the board recommends approval. The proposal received a vote of 3 in favor, 1 opposed, and 1 abstention. The issue really is that there is nothing in our city code for the CHT-HD district that allows that kind of structure. We have a significant amount of ordinance about the different type of facades that can go on buildings in that area, and this is not addressed in any form or fashion. So it is not an authorized type of structure.
So there's 7 conditions?
Right. Yeah.
So getting on this here and said the board voted on it, of course, and it was 3-1. That's only if these 7
If all 7 of these conditions are met,
are they met.
No, they're recommending approval with the imposition of these 7
Will they be met though on this requirement, or?
Well, they would have to be, well, this is just their recommendation to you. They're recommending it be approved, subject to these 7 special conditions. That's the planning and zoning's recommendation.
One of them was a fire code, or what did you say?
right, well, there is, that it doesn't violate national fire protection standards. Because one of the issues would be the vents on the side of the building for the ovens. Okay, so there's a clearance requirement there. So a structure that large, there's got to be allowance to keep everything away from those vents. Okay, that was the main concern there. And then public health.
What about,
Did you say,
now it's ask about, what about smoking? Cigarette butts in the gas.
Well, it's a gas station, so there's no smoking. The size of the structure, if you picture the north wall over there, go to the edge of the building, you can only come a few inches to the east, because then it then becomes city right of way. Okay, and in fact, the structure that's there now is in violation. It's in the city right of way. Then, if you come from the corner of the building, you come straight north, the 24 feet, you're at the city right of way. So you have to shift the whole building over to the west side, the 31 foot. Okay, so you've got the issue where it's covering up the vent. Okay, so we got to make sure that there's enough clearance there. And then the edge of that is right at the vents for the underground tanks. If you've ever watched them, that's exactly where, just to about 15 feet to the east is where the openings are for the fills for the underground tanks. So, no, you couldn't have smoking.
so Mr. Cameron, you said it was unauthorized, so what is authorized?
Well, the structure that's there now with the canvas,
Right.
right, those uprights are actually in the city right of way.
That's right.
Yeah,
I think we just
so,
comply with that during the pandemic, and that's fine, but, and outside seating has been fine during this, but I'm not quite certain about this.
So then tomorrow, if we decide to do it, the motion would have to be approve it with the.
No, it doesn't have to be. The decision's yours. This is just the recommendation.
That's what I'm saying, though, if we go with their recommendation.
You go with their recommendation. They're recommending you place those conditions in order to grant clearance.
I mean, it's kind of hard setting this committee up and them doing all the hard work and everything, then we don't look at their recommendations and all.
Oh, I think we have to.
Yes,
That's what they're there for. We have to look at it.
But did they not turn it over to us? They couldn't.
Well,
Oh, yeah, they do. They just
So
follow
they
their
just-
recommendation.
By law, you're the decision maker.
Right.
pretty much investigate
Typically, they
it
do
and
it,
turn it over
and
to
they
us.
would have done it, but they couldn't come to a decision, is that
Well,
correct?
No, they can, the Zoning Procedures Act requires a public hearing. And in most cities, the Planning and Zoning Commission conducts that public hearing.
Just make sure everything's done right.
So that's what they did. They heard the evidence, and I think it was quite lengthy. I mean, I think it was.
I think Mr.
fairly-
Skeen was there, and he
I
heard
think it went in depth,
everything.
yeah.
He was the only one.
So
that-
what they then do is issue a recommendation to the governing authority, which is you. You make it, county commission's the same way. They have a planning commission, but eventually it comes to the county commission and they make a decision.
Mr. Mayor, this is several times from, and I always say, y'all know how I am, I compliment that board all the time. I do, I think it's one of the smartest boards we put together, one of them. But it seems like there's a pattern of having these caveats that they will approve it, and because I sat in that meeting, and the first one was denied. They said they made a motion to deny it, and they had a second, and they had the discussion, and they had a withdrawal, so it was drawn out. But for me, I think from that board, we need an up and down vote to put 7,
Conditions.
caveats on. And this is not just the first time. I don't know, I know that maybe, I don't know, but I do know that having all these, will approve it if this, and this is met. I think just an up and down vote, a yes or no, send it to the council and let us decide if, we have Karen here.
Through an ordinance.
And I think
And
that's what
he
it
knows,
is.
that's and I'll stop
But
there.
then
Well,
you,
you're right, Mr. Kemp, you can, remember, they're a recommending authority, they make recommendations to you. And it's not uncommon for planning and zoning commissions to impose recommendations for their approval. That's not uncommon, but that happens.
Right.
And it's also not uncommon for governing authorities, the final decision maker, to add their own conditions to acceptance. That's also fairly common. So I think what they're saying is they recommend approval, but please consider these issues if you do it.
So would you explain number 1 to me?
but what I feel like is what we as a council need to do is yes or no. You don't have to sit there and go through the 7-step process. It's either yes or no. We're not sitting there trying to jump through the hoops of whatever. That's my opinion.
Is that Mr. Grinstead approves of being placed there.
That's stuff. He owns.
Okay,
he
the
owns
property owner, not
Right.
the, okay, that's
That's
what
what
I
I'll
want
make sure.
So,
Well, what they got,
Temporary.
I'll make sure it makes sense, but I think we have ordinance and stuff that's gonna cover that anyway, so.
what's the measurements again, 30 by 30?
24 by 31.
Really, that's way larger than it should be to begin with, but
How many people will see it? Can you get under that?
Under the, and you pointed this out, under the general provisions, it says that, I think it clearly what Karen said, it does not, that was the first thing that he said, it does not fit.
Now, one thing we do have to take into consideration is, the livelihood of the business. There's so many restaurants closing, go grab close Sunday.
Right.
We need to do everything possible to help our businesses, but what we do for one, if another one asks for it, we're gonna have to do the same thing. But we need to do what we can to help the business. Because we in uncharted waters.
And I agree 100%.
I totally agree with that, but also, me being on the DDA board now, how are we supposed to make Darien beautiful and spend money into, when you drive over our bridge and it to be like a gas station and a carport? No, why wouldn't you build a freestanding building and try to do that for the community? Why do we have to, why is that carport helping? And you're a renter and not an owner, so I don't really know how I feel about the second, but I don't feel like that. You're taking up a lot of parking spaces, not only for your own restaurant, but downtown parking is already a mess to begin with. And we've got Clay's new restaurant coming on board, we've got everything. Where is everybody gonna park? I'm just asking, but those are things we need to take into consideration. I don't understand how this 30 by 30, it looks like somebody that you wash a car wash under. I don't understand how that would be appealing to eat dinner outside, and I'm not certain I'm on board with this. It looks like a place you would wash cars outside, so I think that's a lot for us all, this board, to consider.
Usually the tables would under, I thought would be better than.
Well, you gotta be 6 feet apart still, so, what are you gonna do out there? You're supposed to be 6
Are you
feet
still
apart.
keeping social distance?
And it's 9,000 degrees outside to begin with. God bless him for wanting to try this, but I just don't think that would be.
Would you like to say something?
Sure.
Go ahead, stand up front, state your name, and, so our clerk
Give us
will have it.
more clarity.
Sure. Bill Marcy, owner of Pelican Pizza. The whole reason behind this is, yes, it's because of the limitations that have been placed upon us from the health department and from CDC. If you're in the business and you understand that we have to maintain minimum 6 foot distance between tables. We do that, that limits us to 4 tables inside our restaurant. We went from 42 seating capacity down to 16. So we have done a tremendous cut in our ability to sit. As far as the aesthetics of it, I'm gonna hit it with a couple things. First of all, what we're looking to put up, yes, it is a metal carport. It is the least expensive thing that we can do at this moment to try and maintain a source of income and not go spending a ton of money to create a big patio. We're looking for something that is weather resistant, that allows it, if it rains, customers can sit outside still and not get wet. We don't have that availability right now. It's a lot less expensive than putting up a big canvas fabric that I could go and attach to the building right now and put another leg out there, and we could just have this big piece of canvas out there. But that's 3 times the price for those canvases we made. As far as the additional seating capacity, once we get done, we're probably gonna add about another 15 seats. We do have to now take in consideration with one of the stipulations with fire, so the building actually is probably gonna become more like about 22 by 26, 24, just because we're gonna have to shrink it down and get away from the hood system. So really, we're asking for that. We plan on taking all our decorative plant boxes, putting it all around it, adding some new ones with big banana trees and stuff like that to hide kind of the structure itself, just like we have done already. We're doing cafe lights under there. We've already got 2 big exterior missing fan systems that are going to go up under there to help cool it and to give it at least somewhat comfortable seating capacity up there. We asked for a permanent structure, but we are willing to go with a 2-year because we just don't know what's going to happen over the course of the next year or 2 with dining and the situations. As they stated, just in the last week, 4 restaurants have shut down. You had Applebee's, you had Ruby Tuesdays, you had Bonefish Grill, you just now had the other one. And, you know, that's just not it. In the last 6 months, restaurants are dying left and right. We're just trying to survive and get through this without losing our business. So our goal is to try and create a little bit more outdoor space so that we can at least entice more seating. We didn't open our dining room up until this past Wednesday. And so we've had the dining room shut for 3 months now, trying to oblige and, you know, follow the guidelines. Well, we can't keep our dining room closed. We've got to get it back open. So we opened up, but we're very limited. So that's what we're asking for. We're trying to do it in the least way possible, but also kind of gave it a good look. We tried to pick out glue that went with the existing glue that's on the gas station. You know, we agreed to, Andy was all for it. He's fine with it. Of course, he's fine with anything as long as you pay his rent.
True story.
So, but, you know, again, we're not talking, if it's a beautification issue, then I think we need to address the entire gas station. It's not, you know, it's not, we kind of tried to clean up that corner as best as possible and give it a better appearance, but, you know, I know it's not the prettiest structure out there. We're going to do everything we can to make it look better.
So this is mainly be sort of like what Southern Soul has on St. Simon.
Exactly.
No, absolutely.
Very similar. Southern Soul they have an old gas station on it.
Yeah, this aluminum, they got picnic tables up front, it's nothing to look.
Let me ask you that. You know, it's a pizza place. You know the Italian umbrellas, they're not cheaper than
Well, it's not just the umbrella, but if you sit under a 6 foot wide umbrella and it starts raining, you're getting wet.
Yeah.
So it's more for weather conditions.
Well, if you're sitting at the oyster bar at Skipper's Fish Camp and the rain comes, it rains sideways, you're still gonna get wet. So it's not, I mean.
It's a little, I get the point. I understand, I see it from both sides. I'm just looking at it from a business side of it as we're trying to figure out a way to go from losing 36% a month to gaining that back somehow, or at least some percentages of it so that we can keep going with our businesses.
Okay, thank you.
So that's pretty much it.
Any more comments, questions? Questions? Any more comments, questions? We appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Marson.
We will take action on this tomorrow night. City manager.
Yes.
Go back. could look at it, but. Okay, next one, now, next one is, consider a stop sign at 7th and Wayne.
Yes, that's correct, Mr. Mayor. I placed this on the agenda after a call from a city council member that received a request from residents in Wayne, and where this is, you probably know, this is right off the 2 lanes. The first stop sign after you turn off Laurel Way. It becomes MLK across 99, but it's Laurel Way at that point. You turn right, so I rode over to look at it. I was not real familiar with it off the top of my head. So, we had just done some cleaning of right-of-ways, pretty close to that where we couldn't see the stop sign. The street crew did a great job getting that cleaned up. So, went over and looked at it, and went down Wayne, spun back around, and as I was coming back, I guess it would be west on Wayne, I saw somebody come off Laurel Way, flying around the corner and crank it up to about 50 miles an hour through that intersection. So the residents that are closest to that intersection asked us if we consider putting a stop sign. Quite frankly, I would recommend it based on what I saw there. And I believe, and I don't mind telling you, it's Councilwoman Goodyear who the residents asked to place a stop sign there. I think it would be safe for that area.
They have small children and a dog, so where there was a stop sign going, I guess it would be north, right towards the rec department.
Before home.
It's a 4-way stop right before you get to that intersection.
So, yeah.
I don't think people fly the other way. I think they come off of that Laurel Way, and I saw it. I saw it with my own eyes.
Yeah.
That car was kind of tilting when it was.
And that's what they say.
And it was a youngster, it was a teenager, and I know how teenagers drive, but nonetheless, I saw that with my own eyes. So I placed it on the agenda for discussion. If you guys are okay with it, we'll do it. If you don't, I think we got some stop signs and poles. So if y'all are okay with it, we'll put it out. If not, we won't.
Okay, now that would be our decision, we wouldn't have to state or anything.
No, sir. That's city street. Yes, sir.
Okay, any more comments on that? City attorney, we got a executive session tonight.
We do, yes, sir.
You don't have that. Yeah, we do that now. So we can go ahead with that next.
Okay.
Any more items on?
Well, I just had, I can address it after we come back out.
Okay. Did anybody else want to speak? Anybody else want to speak? Yes, ma'am.
Since you're talking about stop signs for the traffic
Yes,
on
ma'am.
Poplar Drive, we have quite a few children there, and we have quite a few cars not acknowledging the speed there. So that could be something you could look into. I didn't think about it until you brought it up.
Okay,
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Ms. Moore.
thank you. Maybe back soon and take care of that.
Yeah,
We'll speak on.
these people.
Anybody have anything else? Did anybody else want to speak? And I apologize again, Mrs. Carey, did y'all want to speak on your sign?
Wonderful job. Wonderful job.
I want to say thanks for considering.
Yes.
Okay, we appreciate
Thanks
it.
for
It
considering
does
doing
look
it.
nice. I think it's a great addition.
It's an
especially
uplift.
Going down towards Skippers, it's really an eye opener. And the time I saw it, I think it's lovely.
Uplift, yeah.
And kudos to y'all. So, yeah.
Y'all the new managers?
That's
Bob.
That's
These people are the money.
Yeah, just came back and fixed it.
But it does look really nice.
I hear a motion, we,
Go take it.
check that into a second, vote on that tonight, so. We're gonna go into executive session, we'll come back up.
Yeah, we'll go back.